I'm not looking for advice. I just want anyone to tell me I'm not the first. That I didn't imagine it. That something else has knocked on that hatch before. When I took the job, it felt like a blessing. 2 weeks alone on a fire watchtower off-grid, paid in cash. Said it was part of a remote reactivation program. Some of the towers hadn't been used in years. This one needed a body to make it active again for funding. Fine by me. No service, no roads, just a drop-off by helicopter and a daily check-in by radio. Notebooks, coffee, and way too much instant ramen. And I thought I'd be bored. That was the plan. The tower itself was older than I expected. Steel frame, probably World War II era. 40 feet tall with a vertical ladder that groaned when I climbed it. At the top was a single-room cabin with wide windows on all 4 sides, a trapdoor entry, and a thick metal latch that locked from within. The moment I stepped inside, I knew something was off. Not wrong exactly, just off. The room felt colder than outside, even in the afternoon sun. The air was still, not musty or stale, just still. Kind of still that feels intentional. The first few days passed like I hoped. Slow, uneventful. I read, wrote, watched clouds. No fire activity, no animals. Barely any wind. But the silence didn't feel peaceful. It felt held. Then the scratching started. He was faint, inconsistent, always at night. At first I thought maybe it was a bird or a squirrel testing the supports, but it always came from the same spot, beneath the northeast corner of the floorboards. I crouched there with a flashlight more than once, checked the bolts, the framing, nothing, no gaps, no nests. But the sounds kept coming, like fingernails dragging slow spirals into the wood. By the 4th night I couldn't sleep. I kept imagining it, something under the floorboard, tracing circles. Then I found the first message. It wasn't written, it was carved, shallow but deliberate, into the underside of the desk, barely visible unless you were lying on the floor like I was. 5 lines. Don't leave after dark. Don't answer the ladder. Don't look at its hands. Don't speak your name, and whatever you do, don't open the trapdoor. My stomach churned. I hadn't carved that. I hadn't even touched the desk. I stared at it for a long time, then radioed it in. HQ told me I was probably reading old graffiti. Said a guy stationed here a decade ago used to write creepy poems. I laughed it off and reminded myself that I was 100 miles from the nearest person. But that didn't explain the 6th line that I found the next night. Or how it was fresh. It doesn't like being watched. That was carved into the window frame. Same jagged strokes. I started leaving the lights on after that. All night, every bulb, even the flashlight, but around midnight the power flickered. And then I heard it. Knocking. 4 slow knocks from beneath the trapdoor, not from the ladder, not from below, from inside the room under the floorboards. I didn't move. I just stared at the hatch. The bolt was rattling gently. Not forced, Just tested. The way someone might turn a doorknob to see if it's locked. Then a voice whispered my name. Not shouted, just whispered like someone was lying just beneath the wood, mouth pressed to the grain, and it sounded like me. I stayed frozen until the first light of dawn pushed through the windows. When I finally moved, I found something by my cot. In the dust. Footprints. Bare, human-shaped, but wrong. The toes, they were backwards. The next day I tried to convince myself I was dreaming. I opened all the windows, let the wind in, took a cold sponge bath, anything to break the spell. And that's when I noticed the trees. They were closer. I don't mean they felt closer. I mean, they were. There used to be a clearing around the tower, 50, 60 feet at least. Now the pines pressed just below the window ledge. Needles brushed the glass. And that's when I found the photo. Folded and wedged between two floorboards near the cot. It was black and white, it was faded, curled with age. It showed the tower, taken from a distance, maybe the edge of the tree line, but something was wrong. There was a figure standing at the top of the tower just beneath the hatch. Tall. Thin. Too thin. Arms long enough to bend at the knees, fingers that trailed below the rungs. The face wasn't cleared, it was just a smudge like the film had been warped. But in the window above, someone was watching, pressed to the glass, wearing my jacket. Same hat, same patched shoulders, same expression I'd seen in the mirror that morning. I turned the photo over. A single line was written in blocky, uneven pen. You let it out. I locked the trap door, blocked it with the desk. Then I locked the windows, turned on every light, and I waited. It didn't knock that night. Instead, it whispered. Not my name this time. It said, "Come back down." Like it knew that I remembered something. And that's when the final carving appeared. I found it yesterday beneath the cot, carved into the metal support frame. You opened it in your sleep. I checked the hatch, still bolted. I checked the desk, still wedged. But my nails were cracked, my hands ached, my shirt was dirty, stained with pine needles and something darker. I haven't radioed in since. I don't think they're listening anymore. The clearing's gone. I'm surrounded by trees. I don't know if the chopper will ever see me, and across the canopy there's another tower. It wasn't there before. It's taller, it's thinner, built of darker metal. Windows blacked out, no movement. Except last night when I saw a light inside it. Just a second, a flicker, like a flashlight or a match, and then something at the window, pressed against the glass, watching me. And it looked like me. Only smiling. Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for watching tonight's video or for listening to tonight's episode of the podcast, wherever you happen to do that. So if it's like on YouTube, then you're probably, watching the video, but if it's on, not, then you're probably listening to the podcast, like with Spotify or with Apple or something like that. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. And as always, I want to give a very big thank you to everybody who supports me over at Patreon. That's patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta. I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you guys so much for being supporters. That goes for everybody who was down in the description, as well as AcidSystem, BallarmsTheRat, Blake Rattler, Mendoza, Brenna, BrimstonePandemonium, Caltuna, Chainsmoker Dealer, ChicagoHitman, CoryxKenshin, CronutHit508, CrusaderChocobo, CursepoxPrimarch, Dakota Best, Poulsen, Dante Kinkade, Kraus, Ellie Hutmire, Enchanted Buns, Estebean, Gemma, Halsey, Nephew, himbojerry, Hour Minute Seconds Time, Jay Keems, Jettis Pet, Jordan Humble, King Crab, Mr. Marcus Blitz, Old Penguin, Peaceful Buddha, Psychomel, Red Shadowcat, Remember the Sun, Rinku Star, Salty Surprise, Samara Line, Seclude, Simba's Bloody Mojo, Sky Harbor, Smiley the Psychotic, Sullyman, Tali Sue, the Chavez Brothers. Thank you so much. And honestly, thank you to everybody, even those guys that are in there for just $1. It really helps me out. Once again, that's patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta. Or if you guys like to just listen, honestly, that helps me out a lot too. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And sweet dreams.